In today's Final Touch, fans of The Simpsons need to head to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
And here's the reason why. A real-life version of a convenience store from the show is now open to the public. The Quickie Mart has it all. Visitors can munch on heat lamp hot dogs, chow down on lard lad donuts, even slurp on real-life squishies, and of course you can purchase Simpson merchandise. The store is the first full-service Quickie Mart in the world, and it's attached to a Simpsons-themed Aztec theater expected to open later this year. I think for fans of Simpsons, that would be nirvana.
Yes, that would. That is something.
That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Wide receiver Quintez Cephas has been charged with sexual assault. We'll have the very latest.
Plus, the Bishop of Madison is responding after 300 Catholic priests in Pennsylvania are accused of sexually abusing children.
And Madison police are searching for a suspect after a pizza delivery driver was robbed and brutally attacked.
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3. The rain continues to fall. Multiple counties in our area are under a flash flood watch.
Let's get a look at your first alert forecast. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield over in the Weather Center. Dave.
Well, Mark and Eric, already multiple inches of rain have fallen across southern Wisconsin. Doppler track showing the rounds of rain continuing to pound southern Wisconsin. You can see those shades of yellow and orange over Dane County and the Madison area. Here's a live look in Madison. The WISC-TV Skycam reduced visibility because of the heavy rain, so keep that in mind if you are out and about this evening. Currently in the upper 60s, northeast wind at 20 miles per hour, so that's blowing that rain around as well. Dew point in the upper 60s, that humidity still with us. Platteville not looking too bad, though, at the present time on the Queen Bee Radio Skycam, but expect multiple more showers and thunderstorms, rounds of showers and thunderstorms as we head into this evening. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms will be with us, with temperatures falling into the mid-60s. We'll take another look at the radar and track these showers into tomorrow morning in your first alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Badgers standout wide receiver Quintez Cephas is facing 2 felony charges this evening.
Court records show that Cephas is facing 2 counts of sexual assault. This after he announced his leave of absence from the team on Saturday. Our Melissa Kim joins us. She has the latest on these charges. Melissa.
Yeah, we've really been following this story closely. And just in the last half hour, Cephas has been suspended from the Badger football team for violating student-athlete policy. Now, according to court records, Cephas is facing 2 charges, one on third-degree sexual assault and another second-degree sexual assault of an intoxicated victim. Now, Madison police say officers met with a woman in the emergency room in April who said she was the victim of sexual assault. Now, a criminal complaint filed late today says that woman says she was sexually assaulted in his apartment after drinking with Cephas, who she says did not drink that night. She also claims he assaulted another woman who doesn't remember any of it happening. Now, the Badgers wide receiver announcing Saturday that he would take a forced leave of absence from the football team because he was facing quote-unquote unspecified charges from the Dane County District Attorney's Office. In his statement posted on Twitter Saturday, Cephas said he had been wrongfully accused of unlawful conduct and was innocent of any allegations associated with this consensual relationship. Now, the team did practice today. I spoke to fellow wide receiver A.J. Taylor afterwards, and he, along with other players on the team, voicing their support for their fellow teammate. Now, Cephas will be in court to face these charges on Thursday at 10:30 in the morning. He has not been booked into the jail. Now, Cephas spent the last 5 games of last season recovering from a broken leg that happened at Indiana last year. His return to the field was a highly anticipated one. He led the team in touchdown catches last year. And the Badgers opened their season in 11 days against Western Kentucky on August 31st.
Obviously, very serious allegations.
Yes.
The story will continue to follow. Melissa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pope Francis is addressing the clergy sexual abuse scandal in a letter to Catholics all around the world. In the letter, Pope Francis admits the church, quote, abandoned the little ones. Pope Francis wrote, the heart-wrenching pain of these victims was long ignored, kept quiet, or silenced. Even though it can be said that most of these cases belong to the past, we did not act in a timely manner, realizing the magnitude and the gravity of the damage done to so many lives. The letter is in response to a grand jury report last week in Pennsylvania that found more than 300 priests had sexually abused at least 1,000 children over the past 70 years.
And the response to the clergy abuse scandal from the Bishop of Madison is creating some controversy this evening.
And Bishop Robert Morlino issuing a letter to parishioners of the diocese over the weekend claiming homosexuality is one of the root causes of this sexual abuse. Jamie Perez joins us now to tell us about that letter and the response that it's getting tonight. Jamie.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, if you've seen this letter online, it's rather lengthy and touches on a lot of concerns. The bishop acknowledges there is a major issue of sexual abuse within the church, but the LGBTQ community says the blame is in the wrong place. It's gained a lot of attention from the online community. Bishop Robert Morlino giving his 2 cents on the uptick of sexual abuse scandals across the country. He goes on to point out numerous times how homosexuality plays a key role in the problem, saying, quote, "It's time to admit there's a homosexual subculture within the hierarchy of the Catholic Church that is wreaking great devastation in the vineyard of the Lord." But LGBTQ activist Emily Mills says sexual orientation is not the issue.
It has nothing to do with sexuality or sexual identity. Other than, they're providing a place and a haven for people who are broken in some way and not getting the help that they need. They're given a playground, basically, to do whatever they want, and then it's being covered up.
Morlino acknowledges sexual abuse is, in fact, a major growing problem, but Emily says the finger-pointing is misplaced.
But I feel like it's undercut by the fact that he's then just passing the buck and placing blame where it absolutely doesn't belong.
We reached out to the church for comment. Morlino was not available for an on-camera interview, but an assistant sent us this statement saying groups have, quote, cherry-picked portions to fit their agenda or claim the bishop is saying something he is not.
What is he trying to say then? If you're really trying to take responsibility for something and stand up and say this is wrong and we need to fix it, you need to really engage with what the real problems are, and I don't see that happening.
Emily added Morlino has a long history demonizing the LGBTQ community, and if he wants to see change as he claims, he needs to face what the actual problem is.
Gender of the child has no bearing on what is happening. Any child who is being abused, that is a problem.
If you would like to read the full letter that the bishop wrote, you can find a link to it on our website. That's channel3000.com. Now, the assistant who wrote to us saying the bishop was not available for an interview today, so the bishop may make himself available sometime soon.
All right, Jamie Perez reporting tonight. Jamie, thank you.
Janesville police are looking for a man accused of firing a round into a group of people in a parking lot. Police responded to a report of shots fired at 1951 Center Avenue in Janesville on Friday night. When they arrived, they learned that approximately 3 shots were fired in the parking lot of a gas station. After reviewing surveillance video from the gas station, police identified Royal Powell. He's 35 years old. He was in the video. Police say Powell is considered armed and dangerous. They are also searching for potential victims in the incident. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Janesville Police Department or Crime Stoppers.
Madison police are looking for a suspect in what they're calling an unusual pizza delivery driver robbery in which the victim was brutally attacked.
It happened last night on Madison's South Side, and our Madeline O'Neill joins us in the studio with more. Maddie.
Mark and Eric, the delivery driver is out of the hospital today with a broken tooth after being treated for his injuries. Police tell us the driver, a man in his 30s, was in the 2000 block of 3rd Avenue on the south side to deliver pizzas when the suspect came up to the worker to say the delivery was for him. Officials say the suspect then said he didn't have money and pretended to text around looking for some. The suspect then tried to get the driver to go with him to a dark area behind a building. According to police, the driver felt something was wrong and turned to leave when the suspect knocked him to the ground, punching him and demanded money. The fact that he was beaten like that is what police say makes this case stand out.
I mean, this guy's threatening to kill him if you don't give me your money, and he's got 20 bucks. And so, again, just a very sad and senseless case. We obviously are making this a priority on our south side to try to identify who this person is.
According to officials, the driver did everything right in this case and gave the suspect his $20 before he was able to drive away. Police are calling this substantial battery and say the suspect is a black man about 6 feet tall, estimated to be in his 20s or 30s. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014.
Okay, Maddie, thank you.
Authorities have recovered the bodies of 2 Nina sisters missing after a boat crash in the waters of Lake Winnebago. The Winnebago County Sheriff's Office says 20-year-old Cassandra Labs and 26-year-old Lauren Labs were among 4 people on a boat that collided Saturday night with another boat with 2 occupants. Divers recovered the bodies Sunday. Autopsies are being conducted. Another person on the boat with the Labs suffered serious injuries. A dog on that boat was also killed No one else was seriously injured. Governor Scott Walker's administration pushing back tonight on a report saying he spent too much money on the use of state airplanes.
The group saying the governor used the planes to help rehabilitate his image before running for re-election. Political reporter Jessica Arp is in the news center to explain. Jess?
Well, the liberal advocacy group tracked the governor's use of the state plane after he dropped out of the race for president in 2015 and have tallied that the flights made since then cost taxpayers more than $800,000. The group One Wisconsin now rolling out their report at the state capitol today, saying the governor took 869 flights since September 2015. The group claims he made $818,000 worth of flights, in part to recover from a 37% approval rating.
I think absolutely you could argue that there are many of these trips which are state business. I would argue that many of these trips nobody has any business flying to.
Some of those flights were short. 11 of them were trips less than 64 miles. In a statement, the governor's press secretary called the report a, quote, gross mischaracterization of Governor Walker's dedication to visiting with the people of Wisconsin, and pointed out some of the trips were for funerals, disaster area visits, and meetings at schools. When asked whether the governor's office should be scheduling events so flights aren't required, his press secretary told me today that the governor was committed to getting around the state as much as possible, and that when there's an ability to drive, they utilize that option. For comparison's sake, this new total shows the governor spending about $316,000 a year on flights. He'd previously spent $250,000 a year in prior terms. Governor Doyle spent about $240,000 a year.
All right, Jessica Arp live in the news center for us. Thank you.
A Madison advocacy group for sexual assault victims needs help to get a grant to expand their services for people in the Latino community. The Rape Crisis Center says that over half of Latinas experience sexual assault in their lives, but only just over 3% actually seek assistance. The organization is in the running for a $25,000 grant from State Farm to address the issue. The money would fund a bilingual staff member who could encourage Latino victims to get help.
Many of these are because of language barriers and because of cultural barriers or fear because of immigration status. But our center is completely safe and anonymous, and we would just like more victims and survivors to reach out for help.
And if you want to help the Rape Crisis Center get that grant, you can vote for them online at neighborhoodassist.com.
Well, today is the first time students in Mount Horeb will be together after several young people killed themselves in a small town over the summer. At least 3 Mount Horeb School District graduates or students have died by suicide since November. The death of a 10-year-old in late July is also being investigated as a possible suicide. Mount Horeb School Superintendent Steve Salerno says the school board is looking for ways to help prevent future suicides, but students are also focused on making a positive change.
We have a team of students who, in partnership with their school's administration and staff, have developed their own student wellness coalition. In addition, we held a community forum just this past Saturday to develop some long-range planning that moves us from postvention to prevention planning in these areas.
The Mount Horeb School District has also been applying for grants to get additional social services programs at the school and has been looking for a therapist to work for the district.
More to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, President Trump lashing out against special counsel Robert Mueller, what the president's attorney is saying.
Plus, Trump also took time today to thank the men and women of immigration and customs enforcement.
And a check of the day on Wall Street. The Dow climbing almost 90 points. The Nasdaq adding a little under 5. The S&P up 7. We'll be back in a moment. So President Trump says he is not worried about what the White House chief lawyer told special counsel Robert Mueller in a series of interviews.
Trump lashed out again at Mueller, saying that he spent over 30 hours with the White House counsel only with my approval for purposes of transparency. The president is referring to Chief White House lawyer Don McGahn, who spoke with Mueller's team 3 times. His interviews could provide Mueller with insights into the question of whether the president tried to obstruct justice in the Russia investigation. Rudy Giuliani, one of President Trump's lawyers, argued that Mr. Trump could perjure himself during an interview with Mueller.
It's somebody's version of the truth, not the truth. He didn't have a conversation.
Truth is truth. I don't mean to go like...
No, it isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. The President of the United States...
The president has said that he allowed McGahn to testify because he, quote, had nothing to hide.
Meanwhile, the president took time today to thank the men and women of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. The celebration comes as the agency and the administration have come under fire over child detentions and family separations at the border with Mexico. Monday's event was called a, quote, salute to the heroes, with the president paying tribute to border agents and highlighting their work.
Among those arrested was a high-ranking MS-13 gang member who has 4 prior convictions for rape and federal warrant for felony assault with a deadly weapon. Bad, bad person.
Last month, some Democrats pushed for legislation that would get rid of ICE, but this is something President Trump says should never happen. Members of both sides of the aisle have said immigration will likely be a driving push for voters in the midterm elections in November.
Multiple strong earthquakes killed at least 12 people in Indonesia Sunday. This as the region was trying to recover from a tremor earlier this month that killed hundreds of people. A 6.9 magnitude quake that hit on Sunday morning was one of several powerful earthquakes that also caused landslides. The nighttime quake was followed by strong aftershocks.
We've been dealing with a lot of rain coming down to the Madison area, and I think we're probably got all we need for at least the day. Dave Caulfield joining us with the very latest on what it's doing out there, Dave.
Well, the reason, Eric, that I am not outside right now is that the patio is slightly flooded with all the heavy rain that's come through Dane County over the past couple of hours. So if you don't have to be outside, don't, because it is raining quite heavily for most of us across southern Wisconsin, with more rounds on the way. So an alert day in the forecast tonight. Some strong to severe storms are possible over the next couple of hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a quick spin up tornado. So that is a threat. Heavy rain and localized flooding, though, are the main concerns as we head into the next few hours. Flash flood watch until Tuesday morning for the counties you see shaded in green. That is most of us across southern Wisconsin, and this latest round of rain really has just parked over Dane County, and that's producing some very heavy rain, some lightning strikes as well. There was a tornado warning in Iowa a couple of minutes ago, actually closer to about 4:30, but that has since lifted, which is good news, but we're keeping a very close eye on that. We're also keeping a close eye on precipitation estimates over the past 6 hours. There are some radar estimates of over 3 inches already in Dane County, and that number could go up quite significantly over the next couple of hours if these storms continue to produce those downpours. August precipitation, we're up to over 5 inches of rain at the Dane County Airport. So far at the airport, we've received over 6/10 of an inch of rain so far today. An alert day, as I mentioned, is in the forecast. So scattered storms with locally heavy rain. The main threat with the localized flooding also in the cards for some of us. And also some gusty winds and an isolated spin-up tornado can't be ruled out, especially over the next couple of hours. Our time lapse in Madison looking a little bit dark. That's because we are looking at some rain showers, and I may or may not have forgotten to put that time lapse in. But I did not forget to show you the current view of the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Look at that. A couple of people have remarked that it looks like it is snowing outside. Nope, just very heavy rain, but it does give you some flashbacks, doesn't it? Right now, temperatures are in the 60s for some of us, but we did make it into the mid-70s, still about 5 degrees below normal today. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s across southern Wisconsin, down to 68 in Madison, 70 in Monroe, and also in Mineral Point. Dew points relatively high as well, as you might expect with all the rain coming down. Visibility down to 1 mile in Madison because of how heavy that rain is. So if you do have to drive over the next couple of hours, you're not just worried about the flooding concerns, but also visibility being reduced in these downpours. Temperatures are staying in the 70s for the next 5 days, then moving into the 80s for the weekend with that humidity really returning. Tonight, scattered showers with heavy rain possible and temperatures in the low 60s. Tomorrow, breezy and cooler. A chance for some showers, especially in the afternoon, but they shouldn't produce any heavy rain. Highs will be in the mid-70s. So as this low pressure system continues to track through southern Wisconsin, we'll expect more showers and downpours, some thunderstorms also possible into early Tuesday. That's when the flash flooding threat should wrap up early Tuesday morning. But a couple more light showers are possible during the afternoon on Tuesday. Wednesday, we finally start to clear out from all this rain. So precipitation potential, you can see the downpour potential. It really is tough to pin down just where we'll see the most rain, but right now it's looking like Dane County is the bullseye for that, at least over the last couple of hours and for the next few hours. Your 7-day forecast showing those temperatures staying in the 70s, dry on Wednesday and Thursday. Some showers and thunderstorms possible Friday. Then Saturday and Sunday, we'll look for those temperatures back into the 80s. Now, a quick look at your first alert traffic update. As you might expect, traffic slow go in both directions, reduced visibility on those roadways, maybe even a few accidents out there. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County right now, but a lot of delays out there, that is for sure. The Beltline from east to west, lots of red in both directions, especially closer to Fish Hatch and John Nolan Drive. Verona Road to John Nolan, that's 16 minutes, so pretty slow. Average speed of around 15 miles per hour, average speed of around 31 miles per hour in other spots of the Beltline. And in the other direction, not looking much better in that same stretch. 14-minute journey with an average speed of around 20 miles per hour. So hopefully these rounds of rain get out of here sooner rather than later, but the potential for some more heavy rain exists into tonight and tomorrow morning. I'll send it back to you.
Just depends where you're living and how much rain you get. All right, Dave, be careful going out there. Thank you.
And still ahead on News Street 5, a new report recommending kids do something critical for healthy development. We'll tell you what that is next at 5.
News
A new report is recommending children do something critical for healthy development: play.
Dr. Malika Marshall has more on why kids need more playful learning.
4-year-old Britton Tonti Rigby is getting her yearly checkup.
It looks good.
After her exam, her pediatrician writes a prescription for something he says is important. It reads, play every day.
People tend to think, oh, play, you know, that's just a waste of time. Well, it's not a waste of time.
A new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends all pediatricians do the same, saying play with parents and peers is a critical part of healthy development, fundamental for learning life skills and reducing stress.
Play is really brain building because it has all kinds of effects on brain structure and function. Executive function skills of learning to persist on a task, of learning to solve problems, of learning to be flexible about how they're learning things. It's how we learn, not what we learn.
Dr. Michael Yogman authored the report, which shows playtime has decreased significantly in the past 15 years, while screen time has increased, and about 30% of kindergarten children don't go out for recess.
There's a whole section of our report that talks about the importance of play in preschool settings and how important it is to find a balance of playful learning with a more, traditional curricula.
Play can also strengthen the relationship between parent and child, something this mother of 4 says is important for her family.
We do a lot of outdoor play, and at home, the kids, we have tons of Duplos and trains and trucks.
What are your favorite things to play with at home or at school?
Blocks. Embracing all the learning that happens when you're having fun. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Cambridge.
And residents say there are many things parents can do to encourage play. They recommend getting kids outside more to explore nature, as well as introducing them to music and dance and art. We'll have another check of our weather when we come back. You don't want to go outside and do this?
No, maybe not.
The fish weren't swimming around on the backyard patio, were
I
they?
don't think so, not yet.
We got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, maybe a couple more hours of this rain because it is quite steady, pretty hard in some spots. We're looking at these waves of showers continuing tonight into the overnight hours. Future Doppler track showing a lot more of the same, maybe even some stronger thunderstorms over the next couple of hours. Temperatures starting off in the 60s. A couple of showers possible tomorrow, but not looking all that likely. Highs will be in the mid-70s.
All right, we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6. The CBS Evening News is next. Stand by.
Good night.